Good morning and welcome to the Moopsyverse, where my starlight is on a streak reset again since it only counts 3 active streams at once. I don't know if that's true, my starlight. Maybe? Maybe it does. Good morning, Taz.
The tails.
I mean, stream streaks last longer than that. Oh, thank you. The mysterious dark liquid, by the way, is what was left over in the coffee pot this morning, but it's very good and it's hot. And thank you. I appreciate that. So I was just telling Chris I spent yesterday moving all the leaves from my front yard into my backyard, which was a project. And then I thought, what the heck, I'll plant all my tulip bulbs for the spring. Another project. And then the dogs had to go out. And at that point I decided, you know what, I am not going to the gym today. I'm glad I didn't, because I can barely move today. Oh my god, I'm sore. But after I sent you that message, did you jump? I have done that once, my starlight. So you guys know about jumping in piles of leaves, right? That's not an American thing. Everybody does it, I assume. No? You know where you rake up all your leaves into a giant pile and then you jump in them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I did that once. It is not a soft landing. It's just a slightly delayed hitting the ground at full speed. So no, I've learned that lesson, my starlight. The dogs, however, think it is absolutely amazing to do that. The little one, every pile of leaves is bigger than she is, and the big one, I made a couple of really big piles for her, and she just thinks that's fantastic. Jumps in them, and then I discovered she likes to stand on the edge of it and relieve herself into the pile, and I'm thinking, oh, one day that's going to be unpleasant, dog. But she's happy. They're both happy now. I, on the other hand, am in dire need of a couple of ibuprofen, a massage, a hot tub, and not digging out the other side garden that needs to have the flowers done today, but it's going to happen. So Taz, after I sent you that last message, before I sent you the last message, I sat down for quite a while to start getting equipment made and upgraded and re-engineered. And I'm thinking I'm down to like 20, no, I'm less than that. Probably have like 12,000 salvage at this point. Oh, it's not on this tune.
Okay.
So, I need salvage, which I will get to. I have to go find myself a starbase and dump some of this stuff off. It is a work in progress, though. I did take it out for a test run. Even without all the times. Get some sleep, my starlight. Thank you for stopping in. We do appreciate it. But go rest. But on the preliminary runs with only a small amount of the equipment in, it's fine. I'm enjoying it. I think it'll be better when I have more toys.
What are you missing?
Well, I've got my PEPT being crafted right now, and after that, I have to go to the fleet colony to pick up a few things. Nothing major, just bits and pieces here and there. I don't think there's any major equipment I'm missing that isn't like fleet specific, except on the ones that are from specific ships. Those I have to think about. But I'm not in a hurry. Bits and pieces.
No hurry. Does that mean you want to take a little break?
No, I'm going to keep working on it every single day.
Okay.
But, let's see. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here. Bank. I'm going to mail myself all of my leftovers.
You have a ship in the box.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
You have a ship in a box that's unopened.
Oh yeah.
Could never let that happen in my inventory.
Well, sometimes these are... I was working on going through all my ships to see which ones actually need to be leveled up on each tune. A lot of times I'll just grab them and move them over there. But in some cases, I've won stuff and just haven't used it for anything, which comes in really handy sometimes.
Hmm.
As in the other day when I needed to grab something, and oh, well, yeah, I do have one of those sitting in a box. Huh. I have quite a few of those sitting in a box, actually. But sometimes going through things for me gets overwhelming, so it's easier when I'm building a ship task to do what I can when I can. Just keep chunking away at it so my brain doesn't melt.
I've been watching YouTube and
Oh
some
no,
TikTok.
YouTube!
Well, on November 1st they opened, finally, after just 20 years of construction, over 20 years of construction, the Grand Egyptian Museum
Oh,
in Giza. Opening, oof, I made a feast out of all of this. People reenacting scenes from the ancient history, like ceremony and stuff, and that was all done in historically accurate costumes and objects that they were using. They even used, what do you call that? The thing that the king used to be carried in. I don't know the word.
like the chair thing?
Yeah, but they had an entire roofing and they were like on two sticks that were carried by like 4 or 6 people,
Yeah.
and they were supporting like an entire I don't know, a small room that was just enclosed with with some cloth and was preventing the king to be seen actually, but they would carry it in like they
okay,
even used those kind of things.
In English, we'd call it a sedan chair.
Sedan chair, okay.
Yeah, but I
so
don't know if that
that.
translates in every language that way. Apparently it's...
I know what it is in my language. I just don't know what it is in English.
Let's see.
English.
I've got a picture here. It's...
Litter.
Yeah, a litter. Yeah, a litter would be it too.
Yeah, so they use those. I also heard a different word for it, but I'm not sure if it's accurate. Yeah, a palanquin is another thing, but I'm not sure if it's not restricted just to Asia, like Japan, China. But it is basically the same thing as litter.
Yeah.
Palanquin.
Mm-hmm.
There's another way. I've heard palanquin actually in a video game, and I was like, okay, that's a word. But yeah, the grandiosity, like even the size of that museum is just freaking so enormous. It's a monumental structure. It's the first monument built in Egypt since like the ancient times. Honestly, it actually has been aligned with the lineage of the pyramids. So 2 sides of the top corners will align with the tops of the 2 biggest pyramids, I think. So there's like geometrical accuracy, and it's very spacious. They can finally display the stuff that was hidden in like the storage space for like over 100 years because their previous museum in Cairo was so tiny. And it was built in the middle of the city, so they couldn't really properly expand it. That was the biggest problem.
Would you like to hear my story about the Museum of Antiquities in Cairo and it being lacking in space?
Have you been there, or do you
No, this is... I love Egyptology. And I was watching a show, and they were trying to find a mummy that they thought was related to another mummy, and they wanted to see if they could possibly find enough DNA to do a comparison. And it was basically a matter of they had to start opening every single drawer and go rummaging through it, another drawer, rummaging through it, open a room, rummage through that, go another space, rummage through that. And it took them days, and they finally found it kind of tucked into a box of stuff behind some other stuff. So yeah, I'm sure a bigger space would go in very well.
Yeah, like they really had all constant problems with like dealing with displaying half the stuff that was
Yeah.
worthy of display, but they just didn't have the space for it. And honestly, the museum that they have in Cairo was so overcrowded
Yep.
already with stuff. There was like stuff on top of up. It didn't have proper labeling because they didn't manage to like label everything
Right.
properly,
Yeah.
and like constant cataloging, preserving. Now the museum comes with facilities that
Mhm.
are state of the art technologically. They have the means of analyzing, conservating, renovating, preserving all the stuff that has been uncatalogued or needs that kind of work, so they can constantly like have scientists and historians work on stuff.
Yep.
But this is also easy to display and move around. This is probably going to be the first time since it was found that the entire Tutankhamun tomb contents will be displayed in one place.
Oh, that's neat.
Because they never managed to display everything. They just put the golden mask, the throne, some of the stuff.
Mhm.
But there are many things that there were like 5,000 items in that tomb, and it was so stacked when
Yeah.
Carter got in there. So they just couldn't even display all of it. But now they have all the room they need. Like this thing is, I've seen like people going in there on like the soft opening in July. That thing is so freaking big. It's magnificent. It looks so incredibly well thought and everything. I was really surprised how well they managed to like put all those things together and like make it look so incredibly impressive. I was really surprised. It was finally opened. A huge pompous fanfare,
Of course.
fireworks, dignitaries from all over the world. Yeah, quite impressive endeavor to be sure.
Diaz, are you in game this morning or just visiting with us?
I was on and did my dailies.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Because, now that we've got the time change.
You doing
Well, not that.
dailies?
Yeah. Yeah, but well, now there's a time change, so you guys have an hour before I get here to do your dailies. Not that 13 minutes is enough for him to do it. Let's see. Ho Hell. Good morning, Ho Hell. King Tut. I'm just going to say Tut. Tutankhamun had over 5,000 objects in his tomb, so they needed a museum to house it all because it's the largest complete collection. William McBride. Coffee and donuts. Well, I'm trying to get back into being fit. I took a whole week off, William McBride, so we'll do the coffee, and then we'll go eat something healthier. But the museum is all Egyptian history, yes. I went to the University of Chicago when I worked, not because I went there, because, yeah, that's out of my budget. But the university has the School of Oriental Studies, I believe is the name of it, which is primarily Asian and Egyptian, but there's some Middle Eastern. Has an amazing collection on a permanent loan from the museum in Egypt. So it was very cool, and of course open to everybody who was a student and or a employee, and I was an employee, so I got to go and hang there. But the coolest thing was they have right next door to it a dirt cheap lunch cafe, and you could go into the museum basically with your little boxed lunch and sit there and look at all the mummies and read all the stuff and tour around while you're snacking on whatever the heck you were going to snack on. A very cool school for studying things and eating cheaply, which is amazing because the school was like $60,000 a year. Expensive school. Great school, but expensive.
Sure. Yeah, like that museum is strictly dedicated to everything in
Egypt,
the ancient
yeah.
Egyptian history. It's got displays of like everything from the Old Kingdom to the Ptolemaic times, and they will be finally displaying a lot of things that were not seen before, which is very exciting. I couldn't help but notice how much of a political display it was as well, because their current president, has been he's of questionable morality. He made it a very propaganda kind of statement, to be honest. But that was kind of to be expected. So,
Hall says I'd be late from lunch and breaks every day. My boss had the firm belief in do your work when your work is done. As long as you're not on call, you can go wander around the campus as much as you want.
That's good.
Yep. On the other hand, because I worked in an emergent department, there'd be a lot of, oh, son of a gun, I can hear the helicopters and race back across campus to get back to my office, because when the helicopters come in, it's me. It was a cool university, though. All right, I have some Polaron damage in space, and I have some Zemkethys in the battle zone. Ugh. Chris, what have you got? Or have you done yours all right too, Chris?
No, I actually have not. Just give me a sec. I'm just finishing something up in the Taylor.
Yeah, so, as I was saying, the university was great to work at, but they did not pay the going rate to anybody, including most staff, because it looks good on your resume. Hence, nobody stayed around for that long. Doctors who were on staff got a good paycheck, but we worked with residents and interns and fellows, and more than a few fellows had to take part-time jobs to pay the bills. Then again, when my bosses brought in a company to do some stuff and they offered me a job with them, he's like, yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity. There you go. And so I left and went with them. It's kind of shooting yourself in the foot from keeping good staff, but. I sent you an invitation, Chris?
Yeah, so the Taylor cannot accept it. Give me a sec.
Oh, fine. No worries. No worries. Let's see, do I have any space left now? Ooh, and I have some space left. Ooh. Ew. Let's do that. Got one space left. I can go over there. Let's see if I can get some. No, Natalia, this is Clean Pockets. I'm doing a build on a different tune. So at this moment, it's just, this is extra space for the moment. Let's see if any of this can go out of here. Yeah, they can get out. So for the moment, this is just where the stuff from the other tune is waiting to go back over to that one once we get done with that build.
I've got frigates and I think it's 10. Okay. 10 Borg ships, and I got some Tetrine damage to do in space as well.
Sounds good. Well, let me queue us up for some Swarm then, if you want to do the Herc frigates and get them out of the way.
Sure.
For you. Go. We just queued for Swarm. You said you needed a Borg one too?
Yeah, it's just a few Borgs to shoot. Yeah, in space.
Wee woo.
I was in transitioning maps. Hang on.
I'll wait for you.
Gotta wee woo, you gotta accept.
Okay, I have accepted it. So I see you remember to set the stones back on Stonehenge. Exactly, Satalia. Yeah, it takes a while. You know, I gotta move on, but you only have to move them just a little bit back. That's why it's such a pain in the butt.
Yeah, they could have made them a little bit lighter to move, didn't they?
Well, here's the interesting thing that I've been reading about Stonehenge. They have moved them multiple times through history. Not recent history, but I guess they were in a completely different place, and then they moved them, and then they moved all the stones to this location, but it wasn't quite right, so they moved them again. Those things are big. It's not like they just put them down and said, okay, good enough. Nope. I find that fascinating. How do you move the Stonehenge accurately? Dark. Are you suggesting that it's always dark until Stonehenge is correctly positioned? So until it's in exactly the right spot, it's like throwing a switch. You know how they can move them when the sun is up? All you have to do is mark where you want them to go. But I mean, they moved them like 100 feet that way and 20 feet that way, and then they had the Stonehenge that was the original, which was wood pillars, but they're not sure that that was there before the stones or it was part of the stone thing. It's like Seahenge, and if you haven't read about Seahenge, that's super interesting.
What, stone circles underwater?
Yeah, well, actually, wood circles underwater. Apparently, it wasn't underwater when they started it, but the sea's level changed, and then it was underwater. And every now and then, the water level would drop due to atmospheric conditions like storms, and they would see the tops of the posts out in the water. As you do, yeah. So, which was totally cool and interesting. And then apparently the Archaeological Society of whatever town that was reached out to the government and said, hey, and the government was like, hey, no problem. Came out, took the whole thing over, dug it up, and moved it to a museum. This is England for you. Despite protests and court orders and things like that.
It's a thief, always a thief. I mean, what?
Yeah. Yep.
It's in their blood at this point, I think.
Oh, I know. We can go into jokes.
Egypt still can't reclaim the Rosetta Stone. So
I know.
It's unlawfully taken.
Oh, I know.
But then again, it also applies to Germans, because they still have
a few things that don't belong to them.
Face that doesn't belong to them, and it was unlawfully taken out.
Yes, me.
Hello. I was wondering where you were. Did you leave us? Tess has gone silent. Yep. Did you leave us, Tess?
No, I just have a cat. Being catty.
Yeah, they do that.
I was very catty today. I did a cuddle and jumped on my lap a few times.
Oh. Last night about 10 o'clock, I had just gone to bed and the little one decided that she did not want cuddles and left the bed, which is a first. She never leaves the bed. Good morning, Cliff. It was a totally not typical dog day. I did see a video, though, about a cat sleeping underneath the covers, and all you could see were her little toe beans sticking out. It was adorable, and they went to pet the toe beans, and she just slowly pulled him back in under the covers. Do not touch my toe beans!
No touchy. How dare presuming.
There we go. We have missed one.
What? What did we miss?
I don't know. I can go find out.
Must be yeah, it's the furthest one at the very
Oh,
end.
go over there, no worries.
5 hours to get there.
And my
Going
mouse is
high
doing
up
its
is
little
like
weird thing again where it doesn't like to click. Wonder if it's my mouse.
Oh, it.
I did speak to Deck and they're like, sometimes mice don't plot right, but that's pretty rare. Yes, Italia, if you clean your vacuum, that does indeed make you the vacuum cleaner. Well, I suppose
That makes you
technically...
vacuum cleaner.
Exactly, that's where I was going to go. So vacuum cleaner squared. Germans have the bust of Nefertiri, King Tut's mother or grandmother. I forgot which one. We don't know who its mother was. Or we don't think it is. But weird fact, the bad man from WW2 was obsessed with the bust, saying it was the most beautiful woman ever, despite not being an Aryan. Yeah.
Not sure if she was actually connected to Tutankhamun. There are like conflicting theories. But she was found in a workshop. Really, this wasn't even an official thing. I think it was. Like, there were theories that it was preserved because it was one of like the working models for like apprentices.
Oh.
It was in the workshop, and it wasn't physically ever like placed anywhere fancy, because it never it doesn't have because she's missing one of the eye fillings, so she doesn't have the iris and the white thing that usually is just like pretending that it's a real glass eye. The thing is that there are no traces of any kind of substance there that it was ever there, so I think they just left it as a show model, so how it should look like once it's carved, so it's prepared for like filling of the eyes.
That's interesting.
Materials. So the only reason why it survived in this pristine state is it was a workshop, not something of importance. And I mean, it was an artist's workshop, but it was not a monumental site where it could have been damaged during like ravaging and pillaging and whatever that might have happened during.
That's true. Oh, Hell says, it's been 3,000 years, Chris. I'm sure you'd lose an eye, too.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The theory is that she never had the other eye. But yeah, you probably would. I mean, so many things have been lost. Oh, no.
Oh, it's way over there. I'll stay over here and let people who like to play Pew Pew go shoot that thing.
We do? Probably won't get there in time, but I'll try.
We don't have a lot of high Pew Pewers there.
No tractor beams, thank you. I still remember when they were preparing for the museum. That was like maybe 3 years ago.
Oh, at least.
Maybe less. I mean, it's been under construction for 20 years, but like,
yeah.
They were moving some items from the old Egyptian museum, and that was, I think it was a parade of all of the Tutankhamun treasures, except for the golden mask, which was still kept for almost like until the last second in the old museum, because it attracted most people over there.
Yep.
But I remember that they made an entire parade on the way from the old museum to the new museum, which is still like in the vicinity, because it's at Cairo and then Giza, which is like at the same level. And basically they just moved it in a beautiful parade that was like a festival of light, music, and artistry, because the people were like traveling with it dressed as Egyptian gods and goddesses and kings.
Oh.
It was magnificent, but again, kind of propaganda display of wealth.
Yeah.
Like half of the population is below the basic poverty levels.
Yeah.
So they can't afford food. But yeah, let's spend $1 billion to build a museum, and then let's overfund its opening ceremonies. To the point of like, oh my god, I don't think there's any opening of anything that could surpass this.
Well,
probably
As
one
has
of the
been
most-
pointed out, just because you spend money on one thing doesn't mean you can't spend money on other things too, because sometimes it depends on where it's coming from.
Yeah, well,
i.e.
their priorities are like
Well,
the president's priorities are somewhere else. At the moment.
museums aren't always funded just by the state. Certainly here in the U.S.
I mean, on one side, I mean, I'm conflicted about my thoughts about it because on one hand, the CC's LCC, who's the president, is actually ruling with kind of an authoritarian manner. But on the other hand, the Egyptian culture and history kind of deserves the recognition
Of
and
course it does.
the splendor and like significance, because it was one of the founding civilizations of our modern civilization, whether we want it or not. It was the blending, melting pot of many cultures before the Roman times, and then when the Greeks came, and then the Romans, and then onwards, because it even preserved. It was one of the first places where let's say modern Christianity cradled before it became one with the Rome, and like it was still a location where there are thousands of years of amazing history. So on the other hand, when I'm conflicted, but I'm still thinking that, but the ancient Egypt kind of deserves this kind of recognition, and like it's been misrepresented in pop culture for so long.
And it will continue to be misrepresented because, we like the stories more than we like boring old facts.
Stories are fine, but like.
Well, I mean, like the Exodus. No, don't think so.
Well, that never happened, but that's beside the point.
Right. Well, yeah, but it's the story that sticks around, as opposed to the gosh darn facts.
The belief system, right? It's just some people that like to treat it as a historical fact, which it wasn't.
Right. And crossing the Red Sea didn't happen, and lots of other things. However, cool things like
the enslavement of the entire Jewish nation didn't happen, but that's beside the point.
Right, but I was going to go on to some of the cool things, like there were a number of temples that were along the Mediterranean coast that they think got swallowed up during a tsunami what was the big volcanic explosion there? Thera? Is that the one?
There's so many in the Mediterranean basin, but probably.
There was one really massive one that they think triggered a tsunami that basically wiped out part of Crete and the Minoan society, and the resultant tidal wave took out a lot of the temples on the coastline. And now they go back and there's the whole temple there underwater. No, Pompeii was roughly 72 AD. 72 AD?
Before 72 or 79, I'm not sure. But yeah, something on the 70s.
Which comes into a really interesting story. It might not have been 72. It might have been 73 or whatever it was. Because apparently, even though everybody wrote it down for that year, somebody was there the next year and documented a different date, and the people were still living there. And so they think there was a translation error in writing down the date when we brought it forward. This just came up recently. That they found something going, hey, no, it looks like it might have been a different year. Not that it makes a big difference.
It's not like a 3 decades difference. It's just
no,
like
it's like a year difference.
Yeah.
It's like when I tried to remember what year did I go on vacation. Okay, blah, blah, blah. It was 2013. My son will walk by and go, it was 2012, because 2013 you did this. Oh, right. Well, they weren't estimating. There were witnesses who saw it and wrote it down. Okay, so we've got to document this thing actually did help, and I think it was Pliny the Younger was on site. But let's say he said it was XXVVII, the year of the Great Locust, or whatever. And, we've changed calendars a few times since then. It's a little conversion thing. It's not the Mandela effect. Let's see. I'm going to try and remember how to spell Mediterranean. Santorini. It was Thera. And it's now Santorini. That's the one I was thinking of. It was 1600 BC, so the Egyptian culture was well established at that point. And the Minoans were established at that point, and then they weren't. That's the one I was thinking about. Ho-Ho's talking about Mini Minuteman, and that's the episode. Then again, the workman could have had the wrong dates on his scribbles too, but yeah. So it's Milo Rossi, also known as Mini Minuteman, who does really interesting archaeological things, including I think they were the vampires of Poland, Chris?
What now?
So there were people, I want to say it's in Poland, I could be wrong about that, but...
You mean the burial that they found with the dismembered heads?
Right,
and
that's the one, yeah.
Stakes? Yeah, I've heard about that. I didn't pay much attention to it because...
Well,
unfortunately, there's not much historical context for it.
Right, and he tries to go back and
demystify
those things. I'm going to cue us up for a Borg TFO. The Pompeii volcano was going on and off for 20 years until the final day. Yes. The problem is when you have a volcano going on and off for 20 years, you kind of go, no biggies.
The thing is that, accordingly to which is known from the records of that time, this is a dormant volcano. No one ever saw it erupt before. So if they lived in it, like near it, but they never saw it explode when they were living there. So they just assumed that this is just like and they assumed they probably allocated to it some sort of mystical reason why it's like smoking from time to time, or like gods were causing the little tiny tremors that occurred every now and then with no following up to anything. So they weren't actually sure what's happening, and when it was already happening, people just people panicked and ran.
Okay. Well, you get really complacent when you see something close to you that's maybe dangerous, i.e., I grew up in Illinois.
Yeah. When it was already too late, they were already cooked because they had nowhere to go because it would already catch up to them wherever they would go. So there's not much they could do really, but yeah.
Well, I'm that way about volcanoes. It's volcanoes, but tornadoes. It's so used to the tornado sirens going off, and it's just like, happens every week.
You get used to it, but you know what is causing it, and you have some sort of understanding what it is. They had nothing, so they had no warning system. They had no knowledge. No one studied volcanoes at that time. They went for stuff that comes off of it, like some of the rock with pumice and stuff that we're using it, but they weren't aware what's the mechanism behind it.
We know what causes it now, and people still live there.
Yeah, but we have early warning systems and we have seismic activity monitoring systems, so it's not like you're gonna sit on an erupting volcano for 10 years before it actually blows up in your face. There are signs, and we know how to read them more or less.
Yeah, and people will still get stupid.
I mean, Darwin's awards, right? You can't help them. Sometimes people will just earn them by hardly working.
Yeah.
Working hard on them. Yeah.
What was the island in the Caribbean that had the big volcano go off and... not St. Helens, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, the volcano, they were warning it's gonna go up, you guys don't want to be here, and they finally forced everybody to evacuate, and a couple of days later there were pyroclastic flows and the whole area was wiped out, and within days people are doing okay, we're ready to go back. They're like, no, this is a bad thing. But that's our home. We have everything there. It's all under ash.
There's no recovering anything useful. You just write it off as lost.
See, the thing is, Cliff, you could be in the game, and we would invite you because we have things to go do. Things to pew-pew.
I ancient Egyptian culture really always fascinated me. I even at one point wanted to learn how to read ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, but they even have a book that actually gives you the rudimentary basics about it, but um, never went into anything really.
Yes, oh hell, there was a volcano in the Caribbean, I'm going to say maybe 40 years ago at this point. I think people forget that the Caribbean does have volcanoes. They just don't have a lot of them.
I mean, I've even seen Poland's dormant volcano once.
Really?
As a very early child. It's just one, and it's been dormant for like so much time that no human has ever seen it erupt. But we know it is a died-out volcano. I don't remember where it was, but it was somewhere like when the family of my dad lives, I think.
Yeah, you don't think
West.
about volcanoes in Europe. I
Southwest.
guess that's a thing, too. It makes sense.
I mean, Pompeii's in Europe, technically.
Well, I think of that more along Mediterranean because there's a coastal fracture there, so that's where my brain goes with that one.
Yeah, there are quite a few. Quite, there are few, like, we call them a volcanic chimney.
Yeah.
A couple of places.
La Soufrière is the one I'm thinking of, which is on St. Vincent.
Mountain of Saint Anne is built upon an old volcano. It was active here only 27 million years ago, but it's still a volcano, right?
The UP is a volcano? No, the UP is not a volcano, is it?
The what?
The UP, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Or as we in Michigan say, the UP, eh? It's a very Michigan thing.
Yeah, it is. The rock of the western portions is a result of volcanic eruptions.
Oh my gosh.
3.5 billion years old.
Kewanee Peninsula and the Isle Royale. I did not know that. That is so cool. My brother lives up there. I think I might have to go visit my brother and go, bro, we need to go rock hunting.
I don't remember which one of those volcanoes in Poland I've seen, but there was one that my dad showed me, and until he didn't point it out, I didn't see it. But then when he pointed it out, I was like, oh yeah, that shit kind of looks unnatural. Like it's like a hollow mountain on the inside. I was like, wait, that's weird. Yeah, I don't remember which one was it, but they all like in the southwestern part of like Silesia and those regions. So.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the major mining efforts have always taken place, because it's like coal and natural salt mines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our salt mine in Village is one of the most impressive ones.
Invitation to St. Clair. Stally says, Mom sends brother mountain climbing volcano spontaneously erupts. I wouldn't do that to my brother. I like my brother. Though I can't see him mountain climbing, riding his motorcycle up the side of a mountain. Sure. Climbing? No. Speaking of horrific things that happen in volcanoes, they think they have found a human brain that was basically cooked so fast during Pompeii that it turned to glass. They're not entirely sure that's what happened, but so they have what they think is a fragment of human brain from a volcanic explosion. Cliff says, ew.
Kinda ew, but also
I have
like
seen that one.
Say that again, Tess?
I have seen that one.
You have seen that one.
It got crystallized so fast.
That's just like the coolest thing, not for the guy, obviously. But it's
I mean, he didn't feel it
fascinating.
anyway. So,
No.
yeah.
No, most of that happened so fast that you didn't. There's other things that were preserved in the ashes of Pompeii that I'm not going to go into, but There's a few
I
things.
mean, I've seen bread being fossilized through
Yep.
the in ash, and it actually gave us more information about their food cuisine. That people have been able to read through, rework, and then actively rework a recipe for bread, for
Hmm.
like the Roman bread of that time. And we have recipes today with that you can just easily recreate it. It's
We'll
fascinating,
go
to be honest.
through these real quick. Hohel says, I remember that because in Michigan we had earthquakes too, and the good thing is Michigan volcano has been dormant for 3 million years. Dormant and 3 million years don't go together. That would be extinct. Doesn't mean it won't re-erupt, but very unlikely. I think dormant's like in the under 100,000 year range, something like that, whatever their random classification is. Hence, I do know that they consider Yellowstone to be dormant, and that hasn't gone off in 600,000 years, so maybe that's the range. I wonder if any volcanoes cooked a skull fast enough to make it crystal, thus creating the legend of the crystal skull. Extraordinary, a whole city was turned into instance of Roman life, yeah. Bearing in mind that Pompeii and Herculaneum were kind of like resort towns, so you did tend to see a lot of the upscale part of it preserved, but because it all happened in an instant, you also got to see a lot of the lower class and the worker levels of things. But you do know that Doctor Who went back and saved some of them, but not all of them. You have to keep this in perspective. Cliff, what do you need to do? Don't say the event because Chris doesn't do ground. Well, I wonder how much of the UP stuff and the Michigan stuff that you're feeling is off the New Madrid fault in southern Illinois. Because when that shifts, we fill it up in Chicago. But weirdly enough, not here in Indy. Because those waves travel for a long time. The Doctor missed one and later regenerated into the guy. He saved Peter Capaldi so he could play him later. Is that who it was? Oh my god, that's funny. I was sitting, and I've told this story before, so I apologize, but I was sitting at work one day, and our office was on the 5th floor, and kind of a quiet day, and all of a sudden I felt my chair rock back and forth. I'm thinking, that's weird. And went out, kind of stuck my head around into the hall and looked one way and the other. Nobody said anything. Then from the far end at CERN's office, he sticks his head around and goes, did you feel that? I'm like, yeah. So instantly get on everything. Yep, just had an earthquake. Peter Capaldi was a massive Doctor Who fan, interestingly. And the only Scottish Doctor. Also interesting. What are we doing, folks? Before I have to go back and play in the gardens.
Damage do, so
What do you have to do?
Tetrin damage, so anything.
Okay. You've got some Tetri on your ship?
It's such a minor thing that I can just fire up the reputation thing, but I just need to get close enough to some enemies to do that.
I'm just waiting to see what Cliff needs to do. Cliff, what do you need?
Torturing villains with squirrels.
I'm sorry, what, Taz?
I'm torturing villains with squirrels.
Villains?
The squirrels were torturing my dogs yesterday, just running around the yard in the leaves going, ha 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 ha, ha, we're out here and you're not, ha 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 ha. And my dog's like,
which villains are you torturing with squirrels?
I'm... Mr. Senator was my most recent victim. I'm going for Dr. Doom next.
Trying to connect the dots, but I'm not sure if I'm following what you're doing.
I'm gonna put Dr. Doom in a insane asylum.
Who's Dr. Doom? Is he like from DC or something? Is that like a comic character?
So Talia, I just Googled Googled Frank Muir, but I had not heard of him prior to that. I still don't know who he is, really. Zenkethi dudes, that's ground. Zenkethi ships we could do, but not Zenkethi dudes. Alright, I'm going to queue us up for a How much damage do you have to do, Chris?
Just like 50,000, which is like almost nothing.
All right, we'll do Defense of Starbase 1. That should give you yours.
Yeah, that should do it.
Even if you're just
Blade
doing that.
should do it.
Oh, ships! Oops. Okay, ships. We can do ships as soon as we're done here, Cliff. Actually, can I take us... Did we get a wee-woo on that?
We did not,
Okay.
so you can take us off and
I'm going to take us off
redirect
that
us.
one. Let us go to the Zenkethi Battleground. At Gankra.
Battleground?
Yeah, because I have to do them on the Battleground. Unless... Hold on. I could re-roll that. Give me a sec.
I mean Battle Zone.
You know what I meant. Battle Zone. Let me re-roll that, though, because that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but it's in the Battleground, which immediately invokes some sort of ground
Okay.
battle zone.
We can just go have fun. We can do Zenkethi Front, then.
Alright.
Because I got healing health on the ground, which I can go do later. Zenkethi Front. For you, Cliff, we're do Zenkethi Front. There you go. You don't have to go anyplace, Cliff. I've queued us up for a TFO. And just so you know, there's a transwarp to the Gankra, whatever it is, Nebula Battle Zone. Wee-woo?
Fever particle enabled.
Right. There we go. Ugh. We have to figure out what we want. Hold on. Are we on this Friday? Yeah, the 7th. We're going to be on Friday. Do we want to play a game or do we want to watch a movie? We did a game and we did Stowe, so... And if we're doing a game, I need to figure out which one we want to do. Come on. Why am I not moving? There we go.
I have a free game if you're interested.
Which one?
Take a look at my stream.
We're not playing Manos, Satalia. Nope. Noopity. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, 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 nope.
Can you see it?
No.
Aren't they streaming?
No.
Oh. Well, oh. Yes, I'm streaming.
It doesn't say you're streaming.
Hold on. Well,
I can hear that it says you are, but I'm not seeing anything where I can see what's going on. Tell you what, let's finish this battle and I'll get off the live stream and then I'll see if I can see it.
okay.
Okay. Oh, you know what we should play at some point? Zez's wife was involved in Cloudheim. I got a bomb. I'm going north. Maybe. I'm apparently going to the middle. Well, it's still reasonably nobody here. Oh, no. Now people show up. Fine. Yeah. See if I can launch this before anybody shows up and kills me. Boom. I blew up a base. Well, somebody's here defending the starbase, so that's decent. We can live with that. I may not like the Nadarian defenders, but if he wants to just sit there and defend the base, go for it. Come on. I have another bomb. Why won't let me target the other one? There we go. Great. Am I the only one blowing up bases?
Well, the Darien Defender is definitely not doing it. I'm usually just
That's fine. He
cleaning
can
up.
stay there. Somebody needs to defend that, but
No, the Romulan ship is now blowing up one of them.
I've got a bomb. If I
have a
can
bomb,
get over
they
here
just
to this
blew up.
base, I can blow it up. Here, somebody else got one. Let's see if I can get this one here. Ah! Really? Really?
What?
It won't let me launch the gosh darn bomb.
Something attacking you?
No. I'm hidden behind the base. I
There you
should be
go.
able to. Just annoying. You know, it's like launch bomb. Nope. Launch bomb. Nope. It's 3, 2 more to go. Yay! Really? There we go. Alright. Do we have any bases left? Must have one. There it goes. Be nice if they had a little icon on here so we could know who's got bombs.
I mean, they kind of do. I can see the ship that has the bomb, that they have a bomb.
You can if you're close, but I meant, if we could get it up like as a, little icon like we've got with what traits and things you're using.
You don't?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I can see
Let
the
me see.
bomb icon when my ship's close to them. There we go. Okay. That's that.
I can't check it now.
Alright, where's the dreadnought? There's the dreadnought. Bright light. Well, I guess not that bright. Oh, there it goes. Yay! Yay!
There it goes.
Not our fastest run, but we did it.
That's okay. Doesn't
Yeah.
always have to be super efficient.
Can't always be great. Oh. Well, we survived that. And with that, I'm going to get out of here and pretend that I'm going to go hit the gym, when in reality I'm going to go to the gym and sit in the hot tub for an hour. Because nothing wants to work today. Ow. I can't believe I did that much work and I'm that sore. With honor. Yes, Cliff, indeed, with honor. I am not going to class tonight, but I don't know if I'm going to be here or not. Poor Jim. I might be here tonight. I might not be here tonight. We will see. I'm supposed to go out with my son, but I don't know if he wants to go out for like lunch or dinner or whatever. We'll see. The ships were tough, Cliff. So everyone have a wonderful day, and as we like to say around here, stay Moopsy.
Who are you? We are the knights who say...
Moopsy.